Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. In this video we've got another take a look video at a new lens that I've acquired. So let's have a look at it. So first of all, this is the box that I've got for the lens, which is a Tamron SP 150-600 f5 to 6.3 DI VC USD G2 lens. So here we go. It comes with a 5-year warranty. Let's just get the lens that's over here. Just pop that on top of the box. So we're just going to take a look at this lens, a first look at the Tamron 150-600 G2 lens. This fits in between the Sigma Contemporary and the Sigma Sport lens. The price is around £1,060, and obviously you can get that cheaper or more expensive depending if you're prepared to buy used or new. This is a new lens from Amazon, and we're just checking out the capabilities of this lens, and I will be bringing you image quality and autofocus performance in separate videos, so keep an eye out for those. But this video is just to take a look at the lens, look at the build quality. I'll give you my first thoughts about what I think about the lens, and let's take a look at it, and hopefully this video will be informative. Okay, here's a quick look at the Tamron 150-600 G2 lens. Now this has an aperture of f5 to 6.3, a minimum focus of 2.2 meters, a maximum magnification ratio of 1.3.9. It has a large filter size of 95 millimeters. Obviously you can see that that is a large element. Now I just want to show you something that you should really get to protect your lens, which is a large filter. Now this is sold by Sigma, which is called the WR coating protector. Now this will go on the front of your lens like so. Just put it on there to protect your lens. Now it is hardened glass, so it should protect your lens even if in the unlikely event you drop your lens, and God forbid, hoping that you don't damage the front element of your lens. That will save you a fortune. It's better to waste £100 than £1,000 lens. So taking the lens aside, we have a nice lens hood here. This is about 4 inches large, and it is reasonably well made. I do think the Sigma Contemporary one, while being smaller, is a bit stronger, because they just seem to be the plastic is a bit thicker, maybe by a mil or so. So in terms of the actual lens hood, it's nothing really special to say about it. It's just reasonable, and it will hold your lens, and it's certainly recommended to keep that on at all times, whether you're doing sports, wildlife, it doesn't matter. Just make sure that you keep your front element protected at all times. Looking at the lens again, like I said, the zoom ring feels well damped and moves smoothly. It does operate the opposite way around to normal lenses like the Sigmas and the Canon lenses, because it operates the other way around, just like the Nikon lenses. So Nikon users may prefer that. Looking at the actual lock, because this lens will creep a little bit. Obviously it creeps a little bit. Obviously that'll loosen up over time. We have a lock switch there, so it will lock it in place, and that's well locked and it won't move. So looking at the lock, it holds the lens securely. Obviously there is a soft lock as well, that we can engage by just pulling it across, and then it's locked in place and that won't move. And you can lock it at any focal length you want. Going on to the focus ring, feels nice and smooth, feels well damped as well, and obviously the lens is weather sealed all the way through, unlike the Sigma Contemporary. Obviously it's not to the same level as the Sigma Sport 150-600, but it's probably not going to be too far behind. It's basically constructed of metal alloys, pretty much the majority of it up to this point, and then the rest of it is plastic. So here we have some switches. I'll talk about that in a minute. And then we've got a nice tripod mount, Arca Swiss. It's totally removable, you can take that off. I'll show you that in a moment. And obviously the rear of it is weather sealed. There is a gasket that goes on there, and it is weather sealed all the way around, so it should stop weather getting into the lens. The lens feels heavy and is durable. So the makeup of this lens has 3 LD loaded dispersion lens elements to try and help eliminate chromatic aberration, and it has 21 elements in 13 groups, and it obviously has an ultrasonic silent drive motor in there to try and make focusing as silent as possible. So obviously that's the lens, and that's obviously how it looks and how it performs in terms of the makeup of the lens. It feels rugged and durable in hand, and it is heavy. I think the biggest thing for me over the original version of this that I did test, which did have a minimum focus of 2.7 meters, and this has a minimum focus of 2.2 meters, is you can actually get the Tamron tapping console, which is a USB device you put on the back of this, and you can actually modify the various settings that we've got on here in terms of the switches, such as the VC, autofocus and the limiter, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But I think you would not be disappointed with this lens. It should perform well. We're going to test image quality and autofocus speed in other videos, so please keep tuned to my channel to watch those. Okay, so without further ado, let's check out the tripod mount and the switches on the lens, and let's see what they look like and how we can adjust things. Here in the video you should be able to see the focus window that we've got there, and obviously it doesn't seem to me to be as accurate as the Sigma one, because obviously it goes from 2.2 meters, 3.5 meters, 7, 10 and 30 and infinity. So that's the focus window. Hopefully you can see that in the video. Okay, here are the switches for the Tamron 150-600 G2 lens, and I just want to go through them one by one. So we've got the focus limiter, which is full. We've got 10 meters to infinity and 2.2 meters to 10 meters. So we've got 3 options, and we can choose the one we want just by clicking that switch. You can modify that with the tapping console USB device that you attach on the rear of the element, and you'll be able to update the firmware as well. So that's very useful, the focus limiter, for acquiring good focus, to try and cut down on the speed of focus and make it faster. We obviously have a selector for autofocus and manual focus. Interesting enough, this lens doesn't include a manual override like the Sigma does, so obviously it doesn't have that there. We have the VC selector there for the stabilizer, so to obviously turn it off you just turn it off, and to turn it on, back on. And then we have 3 modes of VC. We've got mode 1, we've got mode 2 and mode 3. So that's mode 2, that's mode 3. So I'll just briefly go through what Tamron have actually said about the various modes. So in mode 1 that we're set up on, the standard mode that strikes a great balance between the stability of the viewfinder image and the stabilization effect. Mode 2 effectively used for panning, so that's for panning. And then mode 3, which is quite a unique one, prioritizes the stabilization of the captured images and forgoes the stabilization of the viewfinder image. So basically what it's saying is it won't be stabilized in the viewfinder, but it will be in the final image captured. This has the added benefit of giving you 4.5 stops of image stabilization rather than just 4. So that's unique to this particular lens, and obviously that may be beneficial to you guys. So that's basically the switches. Let's have a look at the tripod mount itself, which seems to be a nice tripod mount. As you can see in the video, it's an Acus Swiss tripod mount, and it looks well made and good quality. The only thing I would say is when you first get this out of the box, you will need to put in these Allen key screws and screw them in, and it does appear that they're not flush with the actual mount. So if you're trying to attach it to a different type of tripod mount, it may be a bit of a problem having those in the way. And obviously you've got two standard screws there for putting it onto a standard head, and that's more or less the tripod mount itself. Let's put this on the table and let's have a look at the mount in more detail. Okay, here we have the tripod mount that's on the 150-600 G2 lens, and this one is an Acus Swiss mount, so obviously you can attach that to compatible tripods, and that will be really useful for anyone who's got lots of Acus Swiss mounts and on their tripods. You can remove this, it is removable, so all you have to do is unscrew it and then literally just lift it up like so. It comes off quite easily. That's the tripod mount. I just want to show you the rear of it. There you go. Obviously that's what it looks like. And then just to reattach it, you just put it back on there, twist it round until it locks in place, and there you go. And then you just retighten it after loosening it. So unfortunately with this particular lens, if you do take this off, there's nothing to replace and go on there like the Sigma lens. So we've looked at the focus window, we've looked at the tripod collar, and we've looked at the switches on the particular lens. What I want to say finally is say this lens feels durable and well made, and you would not question the build quality of this lens at all. So what we want to do next is check out the performance of this lens, and then hopefully that should give you an indication whether this is the lens for you. But I wanted to say thank you for coming to watch this video. Compare and watch the video I did on the Sigma Contemporary lens quite recently, and then make your informed choice which lens you would prefer to purchase and use. Obviously there is the Canon 100-400 Mark II if you want to consider that. Obviously that's paying a lot more money than this lens, but again, please like the video if you can, subscribe to the channel, it helps the algorithm. I appreciate you watching my content, and I'll see you in the next video.